Hey, everybody. Here I am again. Anyways, topic for today is side jobs for the younger generation. Now, I thought this was a good topic because I used to do so much of this, and I don't see young guys doing this anymore or young girls. And I continuously see people posting in my local community looking for people to do this stuff. But when I was younger, well, I'm not even really younger. This is not very many years ago, but I started when I was in my early 20s. So let's just start with the first one, power washing. If you don't know what a power washer is, you should. It's a gas powered, well, they have electric ones now, but at the time I was using a gas powered power washer, Honda. You can get them at Home Depot. You can get them, don't buy junk. But anyway, if you don't know how to power wash, it's pretty simple. I mean, you can just look up some videos on how to do it, but it's pretty simple. I mean, it can get a little bit messy, but you can make a lot of money doing that. I made six figures doing that. Power washing, gutter cleaning, driveway sealing, roof demossing, like scrubbing the siding on a house. I've done all this stuff and I made quite a bit of money. Like I was living pretty good. And then I had people working for me too, but you could start by yourself. I'm not even kidding you. I did it with minimal effort in terms of advertising, in terms of how much money to spend to get the equipment. You can buy a used power washer. You could probably buy a used one for $300-400. You could probably buy a new one for about six, brand new. You don't need a Honda 4000, which is the PSI. You can get like a Honda 2800. I have one of those for my around the house, but you don't have to buy the most expensive stuff. But if you start with just power washing, like just buy a power washer, you use the customer's water. You might need to get an extension hose so you can go like 100 feet from the machine. Like you can start with people's driveways, stairwells, staircases, if they have like stairs going up to their house from the garage or whatever. So pricing all that stuff is pretty easy. I when I first started, I think I did it by the hour. No, I started working with a company and I kind of figured that's right. I was getting paid by the hour, but I was working for a company when I was about like 19 and I learned how to do it. But you could easily make $50-60 an hour doing power washing, if not more. I was making, I'm not even going to be, not even kidding. I was making five, seven, $800 a day, but doing power washing. Sometimes I would do two houses. Sometimes I would do three houses. Like I'd have a minimum charge. Like you're not going to come to somebody's house for just a walkway that's going to take you half an hour. It takes you longer to get all the equipment out. So what you do is you have a minimum charge, 160, whatever, 150, maybe these days 180 minimum charge. That that includes travel, the equipment, the gas, the time that it takes to unload and load and wrap up all the hoses and stuff. That's what I used to do. And then, people would call me, like real estate company would phone me. Hey, I just need the front walkway done, 180, or at the time it was 150, but that was, 10 years ago. So kind of go with inflation, right? So I'd have a minimum charge. Most of the time though, it was like, you know, $500. How much you want done? Okay. I could just look at it right now. I could just look at it. I know how long it's going to take. I'm an extremely good power washer, like hanging off of buildings type of stuff, everything. That's what I was doing. One handing, the wand, everything. But if you don't know what power washing is, and I think probably a lot of young men and women don't know what it is, look it up. It's a really good way to make money. It really is. Gutter cleaning is another great one. If you don't like heights, probably don't want to choose that one. But I mean, I was charging $200, $250 a house. 100. Well, it would depend, but now you could charge more. All you got to do is pick out the stuff from the gutter. It's not that hard. It is messy, but I'm just saying, like, if there's people out there that are having trouble, you know, meeting ends, what do you call that? Whatever. You're having trouble paying your bills, right? There's all this stuff that you could do. I might start it up again. If I didn't have this eye problem and balance issue I've talked about in other videos, I would be starting it up again because I can tell this, my community is asked, there's not a lot of competition. And even if there is, when I did this, there was people all over back in the day, people were on Craigslist. Marketplace was kind of, yeah, they had it, but Craigslist was huge back in the day. And this ain't that long ago, but you could just advertise on Facebook Marketplace in groups, post it, all that kind of stuff. You don't even have to pay for advertising. Make a few business cards or whatever, but you could start with power washing for young guys, young girls that, you have to learn how to start it and all that kind of stuff. And that's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. But if there was enough people that wanted more information from me, I would do a video on how to get started. You could literally start this next week. You could start it in a weekend. You could just, if you had a little extra money. I mean, it's winter now. You don't want to start it now. It's seasonal, but get ready for spring. Buy a power washer. Practice on your own house or your parents' house if you don't have your own house. If you don't know your timing, start by the hour. Tell the customer, listen, I'm just getting into this, blah, blah, blah. I'll start at, X amount of dollars, $35 an hour if you want, $40, whatever. Then you'll find out, and then you'll know how to price it because you don't want to charge by the hour. Because then people, if you finish early, people will be like, oh, you said it was going to take 4 hours and you're done in 2. That happened to me. I in the beginning, I stopped bringing that up. Don't bring up by the hour. It's by the job. If they ask you why it was so fast, you say, I've been doing this for a long time and I'm super efficient. I mean, if you're just starting out and you haven't been doing it for a long time, don't say that. Don't go too fast. But most people don't say anything. It's the odd person that will be curious. But so power washing, gutter cleaning, driveway sealing is another one. Exposed aggregate, which is, there's it looks like there's little rocks in the driveway. But it's in the concrete. That's called exposed aggregate. Look it up. So you power wash that. I used to do this all the time in West Vancouver, where it's one of the richest places in Canada. I would power wash the driveway, in late spring, summer, when it's nicer weather, let it dry, come back the next day, get a garden sprayer, fill it full of sealant, spray it. I was making thousands of dollars doing that. I remember one house, I charged them like $6,000. It took me one day. Oh, no, wait, 2 guys. It took 2 guys 1 day to do it. Yeah. But definitely power washing. There's not enough young guys doing that. And it's perfect. It's not that difficult. It's not hard at all. If you got a bit of strength in you, you don't even need a lot of strength. You can do it. You can do it no problem. And you could literally start next week or whatever when spring comes, right? But that's a really good moneymaker. Gutter cleaning, driveway sealing, roof demossing. Talk about that for a second. Roof demossing was one of my biggest sellers. Where I grew up in North Vancouver, it's very close to the mountains. We got a lot of rain. And a lot of that green stuff grows on the roof, right? Again, you're going to be on a roof. You're going to be high off the ground and all that. But I was making so much money with roof demossing. All I would do is scrub the moss off the roof into the gutters, or right off the roof, or sweep it into a pile on the roof, and then I would throw it off into a tarp, and I would put it in the customer's bin, their recycling, green recycling bin where they put grass clippings, or I would just take it with me. Or if they lived by a ravine, I would just throw it in the ravine, right? I was charging $5,000, $8,000, $1,000 a house. And I could do them. Sometimes it took me a day and a half. Most of the time I could do it in 1 day by myself. There was the time I brought somebody in when I did really like mansions, like 8,000 square foot houses. I would have somebody help me, And then later on, I actually started a business with somebody else and we both ran it. But I did many of them all by myself. It's good money. I see a couple guys doing it around here, but man, there used to be way more young guys. It's just the guys that were doing it are all older now. Like they're like my age. Wow, that's loud. So they've kind of like retired or they're not doing it anymore. But it's perfect for the young guys to do. It's easy. You just you buy a bristle broom, you go up there, you get a wire brush, and you literally scrub the moss off the roof. Sweep it into a pile. Don't be too, don't be too rough on the roof. You can damage it. So there's things to learn, but it's super basic. Like it's really easy, and you can charge a lot of money to do it. You don't have to do a perfect job. You just tell the customer you take off 80% of it. Then you can get a product. You can buy the product. It's called Moss Out. You can buy it, put it in a garden sprayer, mix it with 50-50 or it could be 50% water and 50% moss killer. Put it in a garden sprayer. After you're done the job, spray the roof. Charge for that. Charge for taking it off. $500, $600, $800. People are happy to pay it. I did so many. I couldn't even count how many houses I've done. Probably thousands of houses. If you add up all the ones I did when I was working for companies, that's how I learned all this stuff. Then I went on my own. But I was doing like 2-3 houses a day, and then I went on my own. I did it for a decade. I got extremely good at that. I'm still good at it. I just got to figure this eye problem out before I get back on the roof. But so if you're young and you're looking to make some money, get into exterior cleaning. You could do window washing. I wouldn't fuck around with the squeegees and stuff because people are picky these days. I remember I was squeegeeing inside somebody's mansion. I had to get a fully extended ladder inside their mansion. They had like probably 500, $500,000 artwork on the wall. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. The house was probably worth $20 million in West Vancouver, in Canada. We had to cover the floors with tarps because they had white floors, like white carpet. And I had to do all the skylights and then catch all the stuff that was dripping. I quit doing that. I stopped doing windows inside. What I did though is I got a telescopic scrubber that could go up 3 stories. I got one right now. You can buy them. They're called solar brushes. They're used to clean solar panels, but you can use them for windows too, right? And then they have this little thing at the bottom. You can screw in the hose and it runs up the thing, and then you can scrub the windows. Put a little soap on it. You have a little lever to shut the water off, so you can turn it on and off at your, when you want to. Put a little soap on the brush, scrub out the windows, turn the water on, rinse them all off. That's why I started doing it. I started pole scrubbing windows instead of squeegeeing them. It's way easier. But I mean, I kind of honestly, I'd stay away from windows. I mean, there's always usually a problem. Water gets in the house, or there's just, streaking, and even with the brush, sometimes there's a problem. So, but power washing is pretty simple, straightforward. You can see the dirt, so you know if you got it or not, and you start getting good at it extremely fast. So you ask the customer what they want, boom, 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 give them a price, and you do it. But yeah, I would start thinking about that if you're looking for ways to make money. Weeding, weed people's gardens and stuff like that. If you don't want to get involved in any of this stuff, you put an ad up like weeding gardens, what charge by the hour. But power washing is where it's at. I'll stick to that one because I don't see anyone doing it anymore. I can't remember the last time I saw like someone specifically asking or advertising for power washing services, because it's a young man's game. Guys in their 20s should be doing that. Girls in their 20s, they should be power washing. It's perfect for summer too. It's hot out. You're playing with water, but you're getting paid. You get paid well because there's a lot of people that are older people now. They can't do this anymore. So they'll pay someone $300, $400, $500 to power wash their whole house. I was doing stratas. I was doing complexes. I was getting contracts all over the city. I got so much work, I had to take all my advertising down. I couldn't do it all. Like I said, I made way over 6 figures doing just this stuff I had listed today. So if you're a young guy, young girl, send me a comment. If you got any questions about it, I've been doing this for literally decades. So I know everything about this industry. And I will do it again because it's great money. So there you go. If you need extra money, you're not making ends meet. This is perfect. And it's not expensive to start. It's not like you need to spend 20 grand to get a this and a that. I mean, if you have a pickup or a minivan, I mean, you can even put it in your car. If you have a car you don't really care about, throw it in the back seat. I mean, who cares? People don't really care. Or just tell them that you're just starting out or whatever. They're happy to have you there. They're happy to have someone even show up and actually show up. Because a lot of people don't show up. That's another thing. Always tell the customer if you can't make it. It's a good way to lose people when you know it's rude, right? But you could literally start in a car. You could put it in the car, but minivan's probably the best because you could leave it in there, cover it up with a tarp inside, and you don't have to take it out every day. I used to have an open back truck. I bought it, and people were trying to steal it, and they were cutting I'd lock it up, and they would cut the chains. And if it's in the vehicle, I mean, even so, you could just take it out and throw it inside your house so it doesn't get stolen. Period. But I got a bit lazy, right? But anyway, that was the topic today. Is for the younger generation, ways to make money that not a lot of people are doing anymore. So there you go. If you have any questions, comment below and I will answer them. Okay. Have a great day. Bye bye.